Right. This is what I'm working on today. Well, I've been working on it for a while. I'm not sponsored by Willwood, and I'm probably sure they probably wouldn't want me doing videos on their stuff. But this is a 13-inch rotor. It actually was larger than that because it's off a 2010 Dodge four-wheel drive truck, a Ram. Um, I had to turn it down because the rotors didn't fit, and I was trying to. I bought them through Summit, and Summit doesn't really have a lot of good information on the fitments. This knuckle is not fully machined. I still have to put stops in it. This is the one I'm going to use on my Jeep for my 55, but I used. It's not fully bolted down either. I used GM style. These are actually new caliper supports for GM. And I cut them down, and then I put a piece of metal in there. They're not really easy to adapt because they're made, basically the radius is the same on the pad. It's up near the radius that they cut in for the rotor, so there's basically zero. This pad is the same height as this machine part here. So when you put it on, see, they aren't really designed for a 13-inch rotor. They're designed for 12. But there's really, like, pushed all the way down, there's just barely any room. So I had to figure out how I could get some clearance and then also not have the pad sticking out. So I ended up having to file these down. That's what I did on the other side. You can see. But these fit perfect, really, the way they say they want them to fit. But they're slightly below the rotor. But what they're kind of like, what makes it hard is because the pad doesn't fit below this machine surface, you can't really run, because this radius is pretty much the same as this 13-inch rotor. It's like 6.5-inch radius. So it fits perfectly on there, and then it doesn't have any room for the rotor to move, to pass through. And you can kind of see if you use a smaller diameter. You know, this is 11-inch, but basically it's kind of, I guess what you'd call it tangential, maybe, because basically they want it to be like flush at the top of what would be the rotor, and then you get, set this down, a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. So we'll start out here. Let's see. Okay, just like that. Then you can see how there's clearance now, and then if you move it down a little bit, but it's not, the pad doesn't sit down on the radius. I don't know how to explain that. I guess I take that out. Like, basically the pad sits like this with the caliper sitting fully down. It's sitting on the radius, where you want it to sit down a little bit so you have an air gap when you move it out, so that it won't be rubbing on there. So what I had to do was, I mean, it was a very small amount, just filed that off so I could get the pad to sit down in there. But the only problem I have now is I have to do some sort of way to, I have to do something to hold these pads down, some sort of clip or something. I have to figure that out. So that's kind of a pain in the butt, but this is what it's starting to look like. So these are the, I don't remember how I figured out how to use these, but they're Willwood 12011 3/5. I remember I figured out all the math on it, why I needed that size. That was a long time ago, and these were like 100. I remember they were like 155 bucks for the caliper. Now I think they're 175. But okay, I don't know what I was going to say a bunch of stuff. I don't remember now. I guess I talked too much. But that's what it looks like so far. They're huge compared to the. I sweat it on. It's going to rust. Shoot. Okay. Well, I'm going to probably do the other side, and I'll probably do more of the in-depth how I figured it out and what I did to measure it. So, if you like it, hit, like they say, the thumbs up, and push the subscribe, whatever, do whatever you want, I don't care. But this is where I'm at on the brakes. I think it'll work out fine. I just got to figure out some way to hold the pads down here, some sort of clip. Figure something out. Or if anybody knows of an idea, maybe you can say something. Make a comment. Not mean though. Don't be as mean to me. But I think it'll work. We'll see. I might try it out on my pickup. My Dodge. Try them out on that first before I put on my Jeep. But, and that's the knuckle. I make these knuckles. But they usually have stops in here, which I haven't put the stops in yet. Stops. And I haven't deburred it or anything, so it's just as machined. But that's a 13-inch rotor. That's going on the 55 cj5. So there you go. See you later.